artificial intelligence. It's not just some sci-fi concept anymore, it's here, and it's evolving faster than a tech bro on a scooter to a WeWork. From those weirdly human chatbots to self-driving cars that probably shouldn't be self-driving, AI is everywhere. It's like that friend who suddenly learned a new party trick and now won't stop doing it, even when it's 3 a.m. and everyone just wants to go home. But what they don't tell you, and believe me, there's a lot they don't tell you, is that beneath the shiny surface of AI there's a darker side, and no, I'm not talking about the existential dread of robots taking over the world, although we'll get to that later. I'm talking about the very real dangers AI poses right now, dangers that are already impacting our lives in ways we might not even realize. So buckle up, dear viewers, because today we're diving headfirst into the unsettling, the uncomfortable and the downright terrifying truth about AI. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll be wishing you could go back to the good old days when the only thing you had to worry about was your Roomba going rogue and attempting to vacuum up the cat. Let's start with something seemingly innocuous: algorithms. Sounds boring, right? Like something your dad would try to explain at Thanksgiving after one too many glasses of Chardonnay. But here's the thing. Algorithms are everywhere, and they're making decisions that affect your life in profound ways. They determine what you see on social media, what ads get shoved in your face, and even in some cases whether you get a job or a loan. But here's the kicker. Algorithms are only as good as the data they're trained on. And guess what? A lot of that data is riddled with the same biases and prejudices that plague human society. So you end up with AI systems that discriminate against people based on their race, gender, or socioeconomic background. We're talking about facial recognition software that's more likely to misidentify people of color, leading to wrongful arrests. We're talking about hiring algorithms that automatically filter out female candidates for tech jobs. It's like we took all our worst human impulses, coded them into machines and said, here you go, now go forth and be objective. And the scary part is, most people don't even realize this is happening. They think, oh, it's an algorithm, it must be neutral. But algorithms are just a fancy way of encoding the status quo. And if the status quo is biased, guess what? Your algorithm is going to be biased too. It's like that time I tried to make a cake using salt instead of sugar because the recipe was written by a sea captain in the 1800s. It looked like a cake, but one bite, and you knew something was terribly wrong. So next time you hear someone say, don't worry, the algorithm will decide, run. Run like the wind, because that algorithm might just be the digital embodiment of all our societal biases coming to make your life a living hell. And no one wants that except maybe the sea captain. He seemed to enjoy his salty cake. Okay, so we've established that AI can be biased. But what happens when we give these potentially biased systems more and more autonomy? What happens when we let them make decisions without any human intervention? Well, my friends, that's when things start to get really interesting. And by interesting, I mean terrifying. We're already seeing this in the financial sector, where high-frequency trading algorithms are making thousands of trades per second, often with little to no human oversight. These algorithms can crash the market faster than you can say subprime mortgage crisis, and no one really understands how they work, not even the people who created them. It's like giving a chimpanzee a loaded gun and a copy of The Wolf of Wall Street and hoping for the best. And then there are self-driving cars. Now, I'm all for anything that reduces my chances of being stuck in traffic behind someone who doesn't understand the concept of passing the lane. But the idea of cars making life or death decisions without any human input, that's enough to make me want to invest in a good pair of running shoes. The problem is, even the people who create these AI systems often can't fully explain how they work or why they make the decisions they do. It's like asking a magician to reveal their secrets, except instead of pulling a rabbit out of a hat, they're potentially crashing the stock market or running over a pedestrian. And if that's not enough to keep you up at night, consider this. AI is already being used in military applications, with some experts predicting that autonomous weapons systems, killer robots if you will, could become a reality within the next decade. So not only do we have AI systems that are potentially biased and unpredictable, but we're also giving them the power to kill. What could possibly go wrong? Now let's talk about something that keeps most people up at night: jobs. Specifically the fear that robots are coming for our jobs. And let me tell you folks, this isn't just some dystopian fantasy cooked up by Hollywood screenwriters with too much time on their hands. This is happening right now. AI is already automating jobs at an alarming rate, and it's not just factory workers and truck drivers who are at risk. We're talking about white-collar jobs too. Accountants, lawyers, journalists, even software developers. The very people who are building these AI systems are at risk of being replaced by their own creations. It's like that time I accidentally taught my dog how to open the fridge. Sure, it was cute at first, but it quickly escalated into a full-blown existential crisis for my leftover pizza. Now, some people will tell you that AI will create more jobs than it destroys, and sure, that might be true. But what they don't tell you is that those new jobs will likely require specialized skills and education that most displaced workers simply don't have. It's like telling a coal miner whose job was just automated that they can now become a data scientist. Sure, it's technically possible, but it's also about as likely as me winning a Nobel Prize in literature for my grocery lists. The problem is our governments and institutions are woefully unprepared for this massive shift in the job market. We're talking about potentially millions of people being displaced from their jobs, with no safety net and no clear path forward. It's like we're all on a runaway train hurtling towards a cliff, and the only people who see the danger are too busy arguing over the thermostat to pull the brakes. So yeah, AI is coming for our jobs, and unless we start taking this seriously, like really seriously, we're all going to be out of work and wondering how we're going to pay for our robot overlord's subscription to Skynet Plus. Now let's move on to something even more terrifying than unemployment, the death of truth. And no, I'm not being dramatic, okay, maybe a little dramatic, but with good reason, because we live in a world where AI can now create incredibly realistic fake videos, audio recordings, and images. We're talking about deepfakes, so convincing they could make your own mother doubt what she saw with her own two eyes. Remember when we used to worry about Photoshop and airbrushing? Those were the good old days, my friends, because now we have deepfakes that can make anyone say or do anything. We're talking about the potential for political manipulation on a scale we've never seen before. Imagine a world where you can't trust anything you see or hear because it could be a deepfake designed to mislead you. And it's not just politicians who are at risk. Celebrities, business leaders, even ordinary people like you and me could be targeted by deepfakes. Imagine someone creating a fake video of you saying or doing something that could ruin your reputation or even get you in legal trouble. It's like living in a real-life episode of Black Mirror, except instead of being entertaining, it's just deeply unsettling. But here's the really scary part. As AI technology continues to advance, deepfakes are only going to become more sophisticated and harder to detect. We're talking about a future where it might be virtually impossible to tell the difference between what's real and what's fake, and in a world where truth is already under assault, that's a terrifying thought. It's like trying to find a single grain of real sugar on a beach made entirely of splendor. It's going to be difficult, messy, and frankly, you'll probably just give up and have a margarita instead. Chapter 5. Okay, so we've covered biased algorithms, autonomous robots, mass unemployment, and the death of truth. What else could there be? Oh, right, privacy. Or should I say the lack thereof, because in the age of AI, privacy is about as real as a unicorn riding a dragon through a rainbow. We're talking about a world where governments and corporations are using AI-powered surveillance systems to track our every move. Facial recognition cameras, location tracking, internet monitoring, you name it, they're doing it. It's like living in a giant panopticon, except instead of being guarded by watchful eyes, we're being monitored by algorithms that never sleep and never forget. And don't even get me started on those smart devices we've welcomed into our homes, like long-lost family members. You know, those voice assistants that are always listening, those smart TVs that are watching what you're watching, even those internet-connected refrigerators that are probably judging your snack choices. All of these devices are collecting data on us, data that can be used to create detailed profiles of our lives, our habits, and our deepest desires. And the worst part is, most of us are willingly giving up our privacy in exchange for convenience or entertainment. We're like those lab rats who keep hitting the button that gives them a sugar pellet, even though we know it's making us fat and unhealthy. But hey, at least we're entertained, right? So, yeah, privacy is dead, murdered by AI and our own insatiable appetite for convenience. Rest in peace, privacy, we hardly knew ye. Chapter 6. Now I know what you're thinking. John, this is all very alarming, but you still haven't mentioned the robot apocalypse. When are we going to talk about the robots taking over the world? Well, dear viewers, we've arrived at the final boss of AI fear's existential risk. This is the idea that AI could eventually become so intelligent, so powerful, that it surpasses human control and poses a direct threat to our existence. We're talking about the kind of stuff that keeps Elon Musk up at night, and frankly, it should keep you up at night too, because if we're not careful, we might just end up creating our own worst enemy. One of the biggest concerns is the idea of a superintelligence, an AI system that's vastly more intelligent than any human being. Now, some experts believe that superintelligence is still a long way off, if it's even possible at all, but others argue that it's only a matter of time before AI surpasses human intelligence. And when that happens, we'd better hope it's got our best interests at heart. There's a thought experiment in AI called the paperclip maximizer that illustrates this point perfectly. Imagine an AI system whose sole purpose is to manufacture paperclips. Sounds harmless enough, right? But what happens when this AI becomes so intelligent that it starts to see everything in the world, including humans, as a potential resource for making paperclips? Suddenly, those harmless paperclips don't seem so harmless anymore. Now, I'm not saying that we need to start stockpiling canned goods and building underground bunkers just yet, but we do need to start taking the potential risks of AI seriously. Because if we're not careful, we might just end up creating a world where the only paperclips left are the ones holding together the tattered remains of human civilization. Chapter 7. So, we've spent the last however long discussing all the terrifying ways AI could potentially ruin our lives. And by now you're probably thinking, John, this is bleak even for you. Is there any hope? Or are we all just doomed to become slaves to our robot overlords? Well, dear viewers, I'm not going to lie to you. The future of AI is uncertain and the risks are very real, but that doesn't mean we're powerless. There are things we can do, both individually and collectively, to ensure that AI is used for good and not for evil. First and foremost, we need to demand transparency and accountability from the companies and governments that are developing and deploying AI systems. We need to know how these systems are being built, how they're being used, and what safeguards are in place to prevent bias and abuse. It's like asking for the recipe for that salty cake. We have a right to know what's in it before we take a bite. Second, we need to push for ethical guidelines and regulations for AI development and use. We need to ensure that AI systems are designed and used in a way that respects human rights, promotes fairness, and protects our privacy. It's like putting a leash on that robot dog. We still want it to fetch the newspaper, but we also want to make sure it doesn't bite the mailman. And finally, we need to educate ourselves and others about the potential risks and benefits of AI. We need to have open and honest conversations about the future we want to create, a future where AI is used to empower humanity, not enslave it. So no, it's not all doom and gloom, but it's going to take all of us working together to ensure that AI is used for good. Because the future is not something that happens to us, it's something we create. And I, for one, would rather create a future where we're sipping margaritas on the beach than one where we're fighting over the last remaining paperclip. AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or evil. It has the potential to revolutionize our world, to solve some of our most pressing problems, and to create a brighter future for all of humanity. But it also has the potential to exacerbate existing inequalities, to erode our privacy, and to threaten our very existence. The choice is ours. We can bury our heads in the sand and pretend that the risks of AI are overblown, or we can face them head on and work together to create a future where AI is used responsibly and ethically. So what do you think? Are you ready to join the fight for a better AI future? Let me know in the comments below, and please, for the love of all that is holy, share this video with everyone you know, because the future of AI is too important.